What's up? Welcome to another edition of Monday's Workbench. Well, you guessed it, another mutter. Unbelievable. But we went to one of our favorite properties, King of the Mountain, and well, we got a little rain, so once again it was a mutter. The IXCR crew, they made adjustments to the track and made it passable. By the time the PM race took off for me, it was actually not too bad. There was a unique separation on the track that was really slick in the beginning, but after halfway through, the track actually got pretty good. I ended up making a lap and decided that was enough for me. But Garrett ran the AM race. He ran Open C again. He started off, I think, 10th going into the woods, and then at one point I think he got up to second place. Eventually he fell back to fourth, and I think he was top 10 overall. So he did well, even though the conditions were tough. Glad to report we didn't tear anything up, but going back through some of our questions, I pulled out one from Chris Tuttle, Mototech, asked how we repair our broken plastic. So, like I said in a couple of our videos, most every bike we have has some kind of repair to the plastic. And whether you practice that week and you got to go out and race on the weekend and you broke a fender or snapped off a tab or some way that holds your plastic on, you got to improvise. Well, what we've done here is utilize the safety wire method. And it's worked quite well for us. Of course, we use this on our grips too, but mainly I think what we use it for is plastic repair. So I've got some Moose safety wire and some, I think these might be Moose. I've had these for maybe 10 years, but the safety wire pliers, they really do a good job. So we've got a fender here that was broken at some point and pretty majorly. But I think I can repair it by using my method here. So I've kind of got it going on a little bit already. Take the smallest drill bit that I could find. Usually these fall over on the drill and break, but luckily I found one there. And I drill in some holes and I kind of lace the thing back together. One thing that's pretty neat is versus zip ties, you don't have to drill the hole as big, and you also can not take up so much room when you fit it back on the bike. So this method seems to work pretty well. Now, as you can see, I've already drilled some holes in and kind of lined up where I want to put my safety wire. And I've also drilled in a hole here at the end of the crack. And the concept there is it actually ends up keeping the crack from spreading any further. So I'm going to show you how I stitch this up real quick, and hopefully the video will capture it. Clip off a little piece. I'm not too worried about wasting it, but I just kind of manipulate it into like a horseshoe almost, kind of like the same distance that I'm going to be covering there. So manipulate this soft wire here, and it is sharp, so be careful. You can definitely poke yourself with it, so be careful with that. So now I've threaded it through. Now I've purposely made it to where I'm pushing it through to the underside of the fender because I figured this is where my seat's going to be sitting and that might damage my seat cover. So that's just on this case. Sometimes you want to think about too where you're going to be grabbing onto, or you're going to be lifting the bike or quad from that angle, and then because this stuff is, pretty sharp, you want to put that in a good location. So now I've got it stitched in there and I've kind of pushed these together. So now I'm going to take my safety wire pliers and go ahead and put them on there, and then I lock them. So there's a lock on there. So now they're locked on there. And now I pull this bottom part here, and then this will actually start spinning. And because these have been used so much, I kind of have to help them. Also too, I've learned if I just pull real hard, I can break it. Also because you're in soft plastic, you can pull right through that. So I'm going kind of slow. Also, the faster you turn that, your wire heats up and will sometimes break. So now I've got it about where I want, and I'm kind of manipulating this to kind of mashing it a little bit. And then I even go back in, tighten it up one more time. This also has some real good cutters, and it's made specifically to cut that. So I'm gonna get as close as I can without, if you get too close, then you kind of take away the integrity of the tie you just put on there. So I always try to cover right here to make sure that doesn't fly off in the shop or in my eye. So now I just throw that in the trash. Now the pliers are actually made to push. They got a point on them where you can push that back up out of the way. So pushing it, trying to get it somewhere safe where I won't grab a hold of it or Garrett gets a hold of it, poke right through your gloves. So anyway, as you can see there, I've got it stitched back up. I've got a couple more of those to do on there. And then would I ever use this fender again? Sure, if we had to. I ended up getting a replacement, or we may have had one laying around. And but the thing is, here's your graphics. So you've already spent a bunch of money on this graphic, and if you're like us, we try to make the dollar stretch as far as we can. We'll repair this if I didn't have another fender, and definitely if I didn't have another set of graphics, which fortunately High Octane already had us another set that we could put on real quick. So manipulating that, was relatively easy to do. It takes a little practice, but you guys can do it, I have no doubt. And then that at least gets you through, finish, looking good for the weekend, or it could be a permanent fix. Like I said, I've got several of my bikes that have that on there. I'm going to give you another example. Oh, the old boot dryer. This poor guy's been around a while, but he eventually broke right there. So I'm going to try the same method and try to lock that in there. So I'm just going to drill some holes here. And this is a different type of plastic, but just drilling some holes right across from each other. I'm probably going to put one up here close to the top too. I think that'd be helpful. This thing fell over at some point, broke. I've been waiting on fixing it for a while, so cutting off my piece here. And obviously I want that tie to be on the inside, and it also looks better too. So I'm kind of just getting it close. It don't have to be perfect. And then of course, whenever you're drilling into something like that, you want to make sure there isn't nothing valuable on the other side. Make sure I didn't drill into the fan or something. Okay, same method. Get the pliers locked on there. And I'm just kind of doing it by manual because I don't know how brittle this material is. So that's pretty good. Cut that off. Once again, try not to fly those across the room there. And I'll just bend that over in case somebody reaches down there and grabs a hold of it. One more to do here. Once again, this stuff's relatively cheap. I'm saying this whole thing may have cost 30 bucks. This is This is a big spool. I've had this for a while, but it'll last you a long time. You don't have to be too conservative with it because it lasts a long time. I think my first one was like one half of that size. So anyway, doing the same thing here on the side part. So I just, like I'm doing it once again by hand because this can get a little carried away. Okay, I got it to where I want it. I'm gonna clip it off, catch that. So, caught that piece. Look at that, it was falling over earlier. So I think that worked out pretty well. Yeah, I encourage you guys to pick some of this up. It's been a good tool for us for fixing plastic. Also our grips. There's also some applications you can use to tie on your bolts. I know like in the airplane world, that's pretty major to have that safety wire. I know Nathan Smith, who's a plane mechanic, he puts a lot of time and effort in safety wire, and I think that's part of the regulations. So, but anyway, good enough for something that goes in the air is good enough for us on the ground. So we've got the X Factor coming in, the GNCC forecast isn't looking good. I know there's a couple of local races that have already been canceled because of the impending weather. But who knows where we'll land if they cancel the GNCC X Factor. We'll probably go try the Southern Indiana GP Series down in Southern Indiana. But anyway, that's all we got this week. Thanks for tuning in, and keep liking, sharing, subscribing to us. We appreciate, and we love the interaction and the people at the track supporting us. I know you guys are watching, and encourage us to keep going. I know we're not showing everybody anything real new, but we're just showing you how we do the things around here at the Monday Racing Warehouse here. So keep tuning in, show us your tips. We appreciate it.